fix your bounce rate before it becomes unfixable. Now, most of you know that your bounce rate is a problem. You just don't know what to do about it. You don't know how bad it is. You don't know when it started. And frankly, most of you don't know why it started. And this is why you're getting deliverability problems, because a bounce rate that keeps going up and up and up tells every inbox provider that you're sending to addresses that don't exist, that you're targeting an old list, and frankly, that you're just not paying attention to your sending habits. And the problem is, they do what? They don't just penalize you towards the emails that are bouncing, they're applying this to all across the board, to your entire list. So if you have a bounce problem, it really can snowball and destroy your account. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to fix everything related to bounce rates. If you have a problem in the first place, how to know where the problem is, and then why did the freaking email actually bounce. And I've been in the space for a long time. I know that most of you simply see high bounce rates. So you go to your segments and add like exclusions, and then you go to your flows and add filters, and you're just reacting to a bounce after it happens, which is gonna be okay, but it's not the full picture. And there's people that sell deliverability services profiting from you not knowing how to actually diagnose a bounce rate issue. But I'm gonna show you everything there is to know. So before we start, there's two types of bounces. A hard bounce is permanent. The address doesn't exist, the domain is dead, the mailbox is gone. You don't wanna be doing this at all. You don't wanna be messaging these profiles at all. Ideally, you wanna have as close to zero hard bounces as possible, because it is the single best way to be flagged as a low quality sender. A soft bounce, on the other hand, is something else. It's temporary. It can happen because the recipient's mailbox is full, it can happen because the server is down, it can happen because a specific ISP is throttling you because of your IP reputation. There's like a lot of reasons why it can happen. And that's where the big upside is if you learn how to navigate this. Klaviyo tries to resend those emails automatically, which is mostly fine. The issue is that when the same address soft bounces repeatedly and then nothing changes, it keeps soft bouncing, it will eventually convert into a hard bounce. And again, this is super important to understand, but because it's not that you will have some soft bounce profiles become hard bounce profiles, which means you will not be able to message them anymore. This will be a problem, but like an acceptable problem. The real issue is that you will get penalized across the board. So you will start seeing your emails, your regular campaigns, your flow emails landing less and less and less, and consequently getting clicked less and people purchasing less. So you'll see an example of how quickly it can snowball shortly. The bottom line is it's extremely important that you don't allow your account to have bounce issues. So let's begin by how you actually build a bounce related report. It's super simple. You head over to analytics within custom reports. You select a single metric deep dive report. We call it the bounce drill down. You can call it whatever you want. You select bounced email as a metric, total and sum, and then probably you want to exclude results containing only values of 0 because it's gonna be useless. And then here's the key. You wanna group or filter by message, which means what? That you will see how many bounces each individual campaign or flow message had. And you really wanna do this because you wanna see when did the bounce problem start and where did it start from. So you would then select your time frame, say the last 7 or last 30 days, and you probably wanna do this on a daily basis, probably not months. It's not gonna be particularly helpful. Then you wanna save and run your report, and boom, you want to export this as a CSV, which is going to lead you into something that looks a little bit like this. You will have a timeline view. So it goes from December the 1st to December the 2nd, December the 3rd. And then for each message that got sent at that specific date, you're going to see how many bounces did it have. So in this case, we're seeing 800 bounces. There is a little bit of a problem. How many bounces represent the problem has a lot to do with how many emails you're actually sending, right? So if you're sending billions of emails, then having 1,000 bounces is irrelevant. If you're sending 10,000 emails, having 1,000 bounces is a catastrophe. So you really need to be seeing this relative to your sending volume. But what we do here in this, I call it the timeline view, is that we simply go to format, conditional formatting, and then you can just apply rules of what is green, what is yellow, and what is red. In our case, red means more than 2,000 bounces. So I scroll and I scroll and I scroll and I scroll, and boom, there's a red here. So remember what I said, it can really snowball out of control and it will do so quickly. So let's keep scrolling and boom, more and more bounces right away. This is why this is important, because a small issue can in effect destroy the account or almost destroy the account. And at this point, we've diagnosed where the issue happened. The issue happened December 8th. So we've answered, we know we have a problem. Now we know when the problem started. The second thing you can do is that you can simply duplicate this data and then filter from Z to A, which will essentially do what? It's going to show you the peak of the problem. Where do you get the absolute most bounces? And if your bounces are happening on the flow level, this can be particularly helpful. In this case, it seems that many of them are happening through campaigns, but take a look here. There is also a sunset email. And a hypothesis that you may have at this point is, could it be that this problem started because of the sunset email? And then what you could do is that you could filter by message. So you would be typing in the message so that you only see the sunset view. And you can see that the sunset does get quite a few bounces. And the next step, of course, would be to see, does this align with when the problem started? Perhaps there was a problem and then the sunset only made it worse. So at this point, you've answered a few very important questions. You've established that A, there is a bounce problem. You've established that it started around this period. And then what you've also done is that you've created a reasonable hypothesis of what may have happened. We had a bounce issue and then the sunset started snowballing the issue because we tried to reactivate an old list. And this is usually where the conversation gets interesting, because once you've seen the spike and you've traced it into a specific message, the next question is always, well, what was different? Like, what did we actually do? And as I said at the beginning, most lifecycle marketers actually don't know the answer to that. So if you want to book a call with our team to walk you through your exact situation, there is a link down below in the description. We're used to handling complex deliverability problems, and in 99% of cases, we will be able to solve your problem like this, or at the very least, point you in the right direction. But for this particular video, I'm going to show you how to go a step further, and I'm going to show you how to actually identify what the cause of the problem may have been. So let's assume that we've identified this particular email as the origin of all of our problems, right? Again, what a lot of you will do at this point is that you will try to see what inbox provider bounced, and then you will try to exclude that inbox provider and message them slowly bit by bit and try to recover the reputation of your account basically slowly, right? But this is you shooting in the dark. You don't actually know what caused the bounce. And I'm going to show you how to do this in Klaviyo. Now, if you're using another ESP outside of Klaviyo, you may not have the same UI that I'm going to show you, but all of the ESPs have this info. And even if it's not easily available, you can ask them and they will provide it to you. They have to provide it to you. So the first thing you need to do is, of course, you will copy the message name, the problem message, where like the big origin of the situation is. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to campaigns, or I mean flows in case it is a flow message. And then you will essentially, I'm going to use all time so that we have the ability to search through all time. And then I'm just going to put in the name here. I'm going to delete the date because this is irrelevant. And then boom, here is a message. If you open this and you head over to recipient activity, and then you will have this section here that says bounced. If you click on bounced, what you'll see is this section that says bounce reason. And you can again export this into a CSV, which if you do, you'll end up having something that looks a little bit like this. You're going to have, I've deleted the information of the users, you don't need to see this, but you will essentially have bounced reasons here. And in every case, you will see an actual guide, in this case on Twilio's website, which explains why does this happen and what can you ultimately do about this. So email was deferred because the IPs were throttled by the recipient server. And then you will open this and you will see what's the deferral, what does it actually mean? And then here is the why behind your bounces. And knowing to do this is extremely important, because you might be thinking, well, I have a list quality problem. I'm acquiring spam traffic, but actually you may have a reputation-based issue, which means that you need to change your sending habit. You might be thinking that my profiles are old, but they might not be the problem. It might be something else entirely. It might be a rogue flow, a sunset flow that sent a message you should not have sent, which actually damaged your reputation with one particular ISP. And believe it or not, this is the end of the video. And if you really understand what I showed you and you put it to practice, you now know more about bounce rates than 99% of marketers out there. Obviously, if you want to go even deeper, or if you want professional help auditing the brand that you work with, there's a link in the description to book a call with Yocto. As always, if you found this video helpful, please be sure to send it to someone that can benefit from it. I promise you, this channel will grow, and it's going to be one of the best resources ever of all time to learn stuff like this. I'm basically giving you the knowledge that other people profit from you not having. So please subscribe, please share it with your friends, share it with brand owners, share it with marketers. I don't really mind. I'm here to help you, and I hope I see you in the next video.